Alright, it is C sharp time, and before I get into this one, I kind of just wanted to quickly mention two things. First is that originally I was going to do like a fancy project document for this one, but it was just, I really wanted to get this one done. So it doesn't take that much time, but it's not an insignificant amount of time either, and there's other stuff I want to work on. But I'm definitely doing it for the 3D modeling ones, because those are cool and really fun. But the other thing I wanted to mention is that these just don't like being in a loop for some reason. I mentioned last time how for some reason I was getting an index out of bounds error when I had these in a loop and had this be like an I, and I did have it like right because it 0, 1, 2, 3, and the loop was starts at 0 and less than 4. So these just don't like being in a loop for some reason, and it sucks because it is very clear um, how these could be in a loop, but that it just doesn't like it for some reason. That's the only thing I changed, and it started working because I did that before I added all the extra stuff to this. So for some reason, these just don't like being in a loop. And actually, no one I kind of want to show it, but it's not really worth it. You'll believe me. Anyway, so this is the database one again. This time with linking tables with foreign keys. So very fancy. Well, not very fancy, but very fancy. Uh, where do I want to start? Um, I'm going to start in the actual database itself. So data.mdf, open this bad boy up. So just give it a second. I've noticed these database ones can take a while, and then also just going on to the next one. The mono game 3D ones, those ones take a while to load up the very first time, but these ones take they load up faster than that, but they still take a while. It's just every time, but a little faster. So see in this table, it's gonna be excruciatingly slow, because for some reason it has to be excruciating slow when I start recording. But see now there's hobby, job, person tables, so I'll open each one of them. So let me double click this. Uh, didn't did it not register? Okay. And the hobby one's open, so just give these another second. It's not even that these take a while to load. It's like everything. There's so many things to load separately. So here, it's as you expect. So here's the 7 things from last time, and then instead of you don't want to have these in there directly. You'll have an ID which links to the table. And just something I would note, uh, obviously you can have multiple hobbies, and although not extremely common, it's still common that it's common enough that you can have multiple jobs. But I did not set up this database for that because ignoring the database, the requirement was to have these in a drop down, and since they're in a drop down, you can only select one at a time. So it's a one-to-one relationship in the database because it would be like a waste of time to make it make a linking table so that a person could have multiple hobbies because they it is literally impossible for that to happen the way this is designed in the XAML. So, but that's just something I want to mention where if you were to have a person want multiple, instead of directly having the ID from the job or the uh, hobby that I have to reopen, uh, you would have a table which, like, would just be person to job or something like that so that they could have multiple. I just wanted to point that out. So it would link to that table, which would link to multiple hobbies or jobs. So I just wanted to point that out. And then here, these are pretty boring. It's just the name. In the example, it had a description as well, but I made these before we went over that, so it's not a big deal. I could add it again, in here, it's just kind of annoying to change it. It's easy to change here, and it's easy to change in the code. It's just a little bit annoying to make a change like that. Uh, well, a little bit annoying to have it because it changes and then it affects pretty much nothing in the code. It would still run. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. But then if I want to actually display that and change it, it would be a little bit annoying. But it wouldn't break anything right away, is what I'm trying to say. And then, oh, I wanted to show the data in here. So, show table data. And then I just put a bunch of stuff already in here, so reading, gaming, traveling. And then person or job has the same thing. And then also person does, but that's not as interesting. And I just did 8 because I just did 8. And then I'm going to quickly show the XAML because that's not important, but it is a little bit important. So specifically here, you're like, oh my goodness, these are empty. What do I do? But you see the way this works, if I go into the DB manager, there's all of these, which these are pretty much the same, except for now this has 2 left joins, one for the hobby, one for the job. This just has the IDs, so that's pretty much the same. Delete didn't have to be changed at all, as you'd probably expect. And then this it selects them too, and then this also has the left joins because it's search. But then I have a get hobbies, so what this does, it selects everything from that hobby table, and then it adds it like reads the names, and then it returns them, so that in the main class, jobs is the same, by the way, but for jobs. Thinking on it now, I could probably hand that a variable and then just call it like a wrong class. Just hand it like a SQL table name, parameter name, and then have these be just one method. But that just popped into my head right now. So just want to let you know that I know that you can do that. And then in here, I just get the item source, so basically the list of items in the combo box, and set it to these hobbies, so that's why it's empty in there, because it's getting set in here from the database. And then this is all the same, and that's the good thing about me making the DB manager. Well, it's not completely the same. I still had to pass the extra 2 things, but other than that, it's the same, which made things very easy. I'm glad I made this DB manager separate. And then the way the combo boxes work, if you don't have anything selected, the value is -1. Otherwise, it starts at 0. So the tables start at 1. So I just add 1 to this to get the job. And this is fine the way it is, because you're not supposed to access those tables directly. But if you were able to delete stuff, then this would mess up, because it assumes and starting at index 1 and ending, or just starting at index 1. So, and it goes like 1 to 8 in this example. There isn't like 1, 2, 3 gap 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3 gap 5, 6, 7, 8. Which in this situation is fine, because you don't have to do that, but you wouldn't want to actually do that, because it gets the index of the combo box item and not the index of the actual job. So I just wanted to point that out as well. And now I've talked long enough. Time to actually show it. Well, I haven't talked long enough, because I'm going to talk while I'm showing it, but yeah. So these are the same, as you'd probably expect, so I'm just going to leave that in there, and I'm going to make a face. And now, to drop down, see, even though it was empty in the XAML, it fills up with the database items. So my hobby, you know what I'm gonna say? Uh, I'm gonna say, I'm gaming. I would pick programming, but that's where it's supposed to go. So now, uh, see, these are, you can see the extra two table items there, but now let me add that person. And, oh, it did nothing because I selected an item that was empty. See? So let me just click this one, and then it'll add a person with the, it'll basically add a duplicate of this person with the faces and the selected combo box items. So one thing that I noticed is these, I guess, snap to the length. To like these are nchar 50s or like whatever they're called. It allows 50 characters, and I made those purposely long because they are path. They're file paths, but you can slide these around because I didn't really want to make this window any wider than it is. It's already pretty big, so that's kind of why. That's kind of like I wanted to mention that because I didn't want to make this window any bigger than it is, and these I feel like you kind of need that amount of length. Anyway, so that was add. These are, not really any different. I'm going to delete this guy. And then let's update this guy and let's just change like let's not bother worrying about the names. Let's just do, just so I remember, it's going to be the bottom two. So a sleepy voice actor, and then click, and then update person. And then there we go. The faces are probably different, but I didn't remember the actual numbers originally, but you can see sleeping voice actor. And then search, you can still search. So these two should appear if I just type in C. Actually, no, I'm going to do these. So if I type in A, the first two should appear because they both have a lowercase a in the last name. And then sure enough. But then the second I do a second A, boom. And then do 4 and then nothing. And then you can reset, which just empties that and then refills this. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. I don't think I have anything else to say, so see you next time. And considering when I'm finishing this, have a good March break.